Welcome back to Red, White, and Blue Podcast of Volume 2 and Episode 6. I'm your host, Elizabeth Rochelle Fieldjoy. Today, we'll be talking about my experience on getting the petitions to run for your next mayor of 2027. Let's get to it, Macomb. Well, I went to City Hall, and our city clerk is Renee Lotz. Renee, she is responsible for candidate packets. Illinois election law says she's also responsible for filing windows and petition reviews. Our statutory duties tie strictly to the office of the city clerk. Her deputy administrator is Josh Adams. Josh just recently got into his role in 2025. Well, as I said, I called. I also went directly to City Hall July 28th, thinking I was going to get the packet, and Renee wasn't there. Then I went the next day, Renee was not there. I went the next day, Renee was not there. And Josh had informed me that he did not know anything about the petitions on July 28th, and that I would have to wait until Renee comes back before I'm able to get a packet or explain to me as a first-time candidate what's going on. So I called all the way to Springfield, and I was given their website where I was able to print off the petitions myself. I also went to the county clerk's office located in the courthouse in the square, and that's also the office of Jeremy Benson. He is our county clerk's office, also new to his role. And no one can tell me how many numbers I needed, signatures on the petition to get me on the ballot. And so I had to pull out the calculator and I had to calculate it myself. I had to print off the petitions myself. And I had to go through a lot of extra work on my own by myself. Did I cry a little? Yes, I did. But that's okay. Sometimes things like this happen. Sometimes you run into a situation where the city clerk is the sole responsible person on handling all the paperwork, while the deputy administration, Josh Adams, doesn't know what's going on. He's new to the city, and you have to navigate through all that red tape. So if something like this were to happen to you, if you wanted to go and file a petition and get on the ballot, and you're coming across all of this red tape, then there are things that you can do. First, take a breath. And just know that you are not alone in your fight. That's what I had to tell myself. Then there are also things that you can do. If an official intentionally avoids their post to interfere with ballot access for the 2027 mayor election, I'm not saying she did. I've never spoke to Renee during July 28th, after July 28th, of trying to get the petitions so I can get it signed and get myself on the ballot. So I don't know why Renee was not there. Only she can answer that. I don't know what's going on. I do have a lot of examples or ideas of what I feel like has gone on, and I will discuss them later on. But if an official, if that's exactly what happened, avoids their posts to interfere with ballot access for the 2027 mayor election, You don't have to cry like I did. You can go to the Illinois State Board of Elections and file a formal elections interference complaint. Also, an emergency right of Miranda's. File an emergency petition in the county circuit court. A judge can legally compel the clerk to perform her duties. So, Macomb, here is what I propose. Separate the mayor's office from City Hall. Now, while this may seem like a big push, and I understand we've not done this before in all the 170 years of Macomb, but here are the benefits from that. Now, I don't know why Renee Lotz has decided not to show up for work during the packets of petitions given out to new candidates so that they can get on the ballot for their roles. But sadly, that is what has happened. Only Renee can tell us why that has happened. But if intimidation played a role, separating the mayor's office from City Hall alleviates that pressure of being intimidated. We can have things like a field trip for our next generation of leadership. We can have a gift shop inside of the mayor's office so they can always generate some type of income when it's open. We can have offices like the alderman's office with inside the mayor's office. It shows outside investors that this town is serious, that we mean business, that we are a innovative, ready to use city town that invites other investors to make the town grow. And that's exactly the look that the city of Macomb needs to drive up its residence count from barely 15,000 to more than that. I'm looking at 60,000 residents by the end of my 4th year term if I am elected as your new mayor. And having that large count of residents will alleviate taxpayers. Currently, I am a homeowner and my mortgage is upside down. Now, while the current resident count is at 15,000, the taxes has gone up. And me as a taxpaying citizen, I am responsible for paying the taxes. So I want to lower the taxes by inviting the number count of our residents up. And I believe that I can do that. This mayor's office will serve so many roles. It will be an inspiration to our students for local field trips. It will be a place where new and inventive ideas can spark for us to grow our resident count, our town, from the barely 15,000 to even more. I want it to be a place that is something to be revered, something to be astonished, amazed. Outside of interference or intimidation, the mayor separation from City Hall will give the citizens of Macomb something, a piece of a landmark that they can call their own. So it's so many ways and uses for this concept, but I will leave that to you, the local taxpayers and also the residents of Macomb, Illinois. Also, I wanted to discuss city administrators and their roles within the city hall. So we've already discussed Renee Lotz. She is our city clerk. Josh Adams, he is the deputy administrator. He is new to his role again. And oftentimes when I am transferred to Josh or I speak to him face to face, he has told me several times that he is new to his role and he does not know what's going on. Also in City Hall, we have Scott Cocker. Scott is like a vice mayor to the city of Macomb. So there's the mayor and then there's like the vice mayor. We call that the city administrator. He is responsible for managing the daily operations of public works, the businesses office, wastewater, building, and zoning. He's responsible for a lot. So if the mayor's office was removed, then he will maintain that whole office. So instead of seeing the mayor's office, you'll see instead city administrator, and that would be Scott Cocker's office. And he will handle the day-to-day tasks that happens at City Hall, while the mayor himself will be responsible and be the face of Macomb, getting new businesses, new investors here to Macomb to grow our city. And if I was given the opportunity to get that role, that would be one of my first things that I will be doing is contacting, getting investors here to Macomb so that the city can grow. Well, that was it for the Red, White, and Blue podcast. I thank you so much for joining me on Volume 2, Episode 6. And as always, let's go, Macomb.